Former Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Well, two things I like to say, right? Racism trumps everything else, pun intended. Or envy is a hell of a drug, right? You know what that can add up to in the world of boxing? The young living legend, Devin Haney, equal Devin Haney hate. It's incredible because he gets it from all sides. Young man Devin Haney. And the funny thing about Devin Haney is you don't really see him messing with nobody too much. You know what I mean? He just kind of goes about his business, tries to fight the hardest fights. We can never say, hey, Devin Haney is avoiding this and he's avoiding that. Like we can with everyone else, or most everyone else. You know, Devin Haney's been undisputed before. The youngest lightweight ever to become undisputed. For those that understand what he went through, you would know how hard that was, you know, to become undisputed for Devin Haney. It was ridiculous what he had to go through to become undisputed. We all know, you know, going over to Australia twice to fight your boy George Kambosos. George Kambosos wasn't really trying to fight him. He just thought that deal, if he takes so much money, that Devin Haney wasn't going to do that deal. And Devin Haney had to take less money than somebody who is categorically not as good as he is. Right? That's what he had to do. But he did it. And went over there and beat him twice because he had to have a rematch with this guy. So that was not easy enough. Then when he was younger than that, like 20 years old, he was trying to fight Lomachenko. Everybody knows the term Lomachenko. That was a 20-year-old Devin Haney calling Lomachenko that. Lomachenko was the best fighter most of these pundits and everybody was saying was the best they've ever seen because of his amateur career. Somebody that they'll tell you that's the quickest to become a champion than they ever. They forget to tell you that he lost his second fight and we gave him another shot. Like, you know, yeah, you're the quickest if we give you the opportunity. I don't think Lomachenko would have been any quicker than a Guillermo Rigondeaux or my man David Morrell. I think they could have did the same thing given the chance. So it's all about the chance. But they're not going to say that. He's just the quickest. So that guy, a young Devin Haney, was trying to fight. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Let me get this thing right. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So Devin Haney trying his butt off to get hard fights, right? Right now, your boy Brian Norman went over there and beat the Japanese guy. Knocked him out real bad. I hope he got his memory back. It was a real devastating knockout. Brian Norman was considered the second best welterweight behind Jaron Boots Ennis. We were trying to get that fight. We all consider him a little bit better than Barrios. Barrios gonna have to do something to get, you know, to change the narrative about his name. But we didn't consider him as good as Brian Norman or Boots Ennis, and that's no slight to Barrios. It's just it is what it is. It's facts. But Brian Norman, after he beat the Japanese guy, I forget his name right now. I don't want to just say Suzuki, you know, just like you know, doing him like that, and that's not his name. Like saying to a brother, your name is going to be Johnson or Smith or something, or Thompson. I'm not going to do him like that. So I don't know his name right now, and that's my bad, right? But he was a bad boy, high knockout ratio. So after that, I told you guys, no one was going to call out Brian Norman Jr. It was too devastating. Nobody. I said what type of people are not going to do it too, but I ain't going to even go there right now. Nobody going to call him out in or around his division, and they haven't. Who does it? The living legend. Now, I've seen a couple of titles from uploaders that I don't watch anymore because I'm just totally disappointed. I've seen too many things, too many negative. You talk too negative about Devin Haney all the time or Terrence Crawford all the time, then I'm going to take issue with that at some point because we got too many boxers out there that we should be taking issue with. And you pinpoint these guys, something else is up with you. Something else. And whatever it is, some financial or just understanding that this is what people want to hear, and that would be an integrity thing. So I'm too old for that. So instead of me going on there disliking the people, I try to not go there anymore so I don't have to dislike them. You know, if that's what you're going up to, whatever. But I've seen a couple of titles saying that a WBO had something to do with Devin Haney having to fight Brian Norman or something like that, which I don't even give a damn about whatever was said in that, because all these fighters that don't give a damn if they're getting told they have eliminator fights, or they're being told, people that are mandatory, all these Mexican mandatories that even they're mandatory won't even fight the champion. You know, the Ryan Garcias of the world, who was the mandatory for Devin Haney, or the Canelo Alvarez's of the world, who were mandatories for Demetrius Andrade, or the Virgil Ortiz's of the world, who was mandatory for Terrence Crawford, right? The Jaime Munguia's, who was mandatory for Demetrius Andrade. All those people who didn't have to fight and they were mandatories. I ain't really trying to hear nothing about Devin Haney, you know, being forced to do something. Because he could have easily just said, well, I done fought everybody else, I'm just not doing that. He took the fight, period. Right? Trying to fight Brian Norman after that devastating knockout, after he's undefeated, and the fact that he's bigger. Right? He's going up to a weight division. After the fact that he's supposed to have looked lackluster than against Ramirez, which I don't care. I don't follow narratives. I thought that's an awesome performance to come back after being cheated and hit on by a cheater, right? To come back and fight a bigger, hard-punching guy, and is able to stay away and pick this dude apart and just take this easy win home with no damage. That's what I would basically want him to do, exactly that, even as a fan, because I know that the guy was just cheated. I don't want him going in there the next fight trying to prove something to some people that hate him anyway. That's an asinine thing to ask him. So for me, that's like, wow, you did exactly what I wanted you to do. Show that you can stay out of the pocket, stay out of harm's way, pick somebody apart, take an easy win against a two-time champion that's bigger than you. Everybody can't do that. And so I don't follow the narrative of anybody. That's exactly what I wanted him to do. Now, how's he going forward is a different thing. I wanted to see him back in the ring and to win a fight, and he won it easy, going away. Damn it, that's good for me. You guys can be talking some other stuff. That's whatever. That's not what I wanted. So I was happy to see him do that. And you got to be fit enough and skilled enough to do that. But we ain't going to mention that. That would be wrong, right? People won't like you if you say it, right? Well, who cares what a new Russian says, right? But whatever. Anyway, here's the deal. Devin Haney and your boy Brian Norman gonna fight. That's a living legend stuff to me. Devin Haney didn't have to do that. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman is on. We just don't have the date and the venue. We got everything else, according to reports. And it's enough reports that I think the sources are good, because I just ain't heard it from one source. So let's rejoice in an awesome fight. Y'all know probably how I roll. I really don't like the fight right now. I would have liked somebody else that's supposed to be running around getting props to want to fight him, right? Teofimo Lopez, right? Just turned down the Devin Haney fight. You know, Devin Haney was trying to fight Super Almatias. All these hard people he tried to fight. So Devin Haney got to do the dirty work and don't get no props for it. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But other than that, the fight itself, boy, we'll get to that when it's time, because that's going to be a barn burner of a fight. And let me tell you something, guys, before I tune off here, I sign off. It is extremely significant. Whatever the scenario there is, the winner here is going to be looking very, very good. But I want to give them props before they fight, right? Props to both of these guys for taking the damn fight, all right? We'll talk more about it when it's time. But right now, for both of these taking the fight, that's some serious stuff, man. So much props to both of y'all. And make sure I'm going to say this again. Might irk some people. Devin, the living legend, Haney, recognized. Doma Sports Talk. Worldwide. And I'm out of here, y'all.